And we're back. And today we are talking about subtracting our savings. I am Paris. I am local in Texas, but don't let that stop you from contacting me and asking me a question. At Bill Gear Insurance, we service many states. So give me a call. And if there is a rare chance that I'm not in your state, I can still help you out. Um, Let's see. So today we are here because we are talking about subtract your savings. And if you are new to my videos, you might not be so sure what I am talking about. So let's start from the top. Definitely go back and check out some of my previous videos. We're talking about life insurance today. I created an acronym with my name, really want to be your favorite. Paris. So we're focusing on subtracting and savings today, but to tell you how we got here, the Paris acronym is an acronym to help you come up with the perfect insurance number for you, your family, and your loved ones, your future. A reminder that life insurance, is not just for death and final expenses, it's for living too long and protecting yourself for unexpected twists and not living too long. We're planning to live until 100. So we want to make sure we have that planned out. And then, two, legacy. Your legacy is so important. So, P, I got into that, right? P is protect your income. That is when you look at if your income stops today, how many years of income would you want to provide for your family? Don't think about the price right now or how much. You don't know, because you don't know what I know. So don't worry about how much this is going to cost us. Let's just talk about our dreams for the future so that we can come up with the perfect magic number. So for me, for example, matter of fact, let's jump right into sharing our screen because I can show you literally better than I can tell you. All right. So here, let's add that to the stage. Excuse me. So here you'll see at the top, and feel free to send me a message if you would like me to send you this Excel. I am happy to send it to you for the free. Okay. So protect your income. This is an illustration that we have pulled up that I used from a previous video I made. So let's just say you make 50,000 a year right now. And remember, this doesn't have to be your actual salary. This could be an old salary. This could be maybe your kid is a little bit older, so you're not worried about leaving so much salary. But for me, thinking about my daughter right now, for sure, I want to make sure that I leave at least 10 years of salary. But for this example, let's put 50K in, 10 years we want to replace. Then A is add debts and obligations. You see that list there. Again, I have some other videos here that go into detail about how you calculate that number. And I also am happy to meet with you individually. Um, for there, remember, even if you need to liquidate everything, that doesn't always happen fast, and it's definitely not free. So in this example, we've got 100K there. Then we scroll on down. I advise, especially if you're not sure what you want to do with your final expenses, kind of default to 15K. That should be like your minimum start for that. Include dreams and legacy. Had a great time talking about this actually this morning, including dreams and legacy. I'll do more of that because you really should just think of things that you want to be a part of while you're living and long after you're gone. If there's something that you're passionate about now, what does that look like if you're no longer here? Retirement businesses, anything that you want to dream or any legacy, that's where you account for that. And while we're gathered here today, we're going to subtract savings and current insurance. So off top, let me see. How much how much do we already have saved for our family's future? Now remember, we're talking about, that's a good question. So how much let's leave that there. Jot that down, write this question down, so you can come back to it, because maybe you are thinking about the next year, but we are thinking about you living until the age of 100. So, what does that future look like? And what we really want to dig into, I made a list of 10 things that you might not have thought about that can get expensive, especially if you're like me. I'll be 40 this year. If we're planning to live to 100, let's talk about why our just savings for the future, our 401k, um, your work insurance, and things like that might not be enough. And that's okay. Things are more expensive than they used to be. So if you remember back to the Excel document, um, there, and I want to pull this up. Well, okay, so I want to pull this up while I'm talking about subtract your savings. So subtracting your savings, that's going to be like 401k investments. If you have life insurance through your employer, it is most likely term insurance. Unless I came to your employer, it's a small business, and I sold you a portable insurance, which side commercial, if you do know a business that does not offer life insurance and they want to be able to offer a portable life insurance to their employees, give me a call. I can set that up and it can come out of your paycheck just like a big corporation. Now, yeah, give me a call. We'll talk about that later. But subtract your savings. So that will be less than 2% of individuals actually use the term insurance from their employer. Because if you think about it, most of the time you don't pass away still employed. If you get a terminal illness, sometimes even if you wanted to work until you passed away, you might not be able to due to health reasons. Or, at the same token, if you get diagnosed with a terminal illness, you might not want to work anymore. So keep that in mind as well. Um, then, if you have some folks have like trust or other inheritance or something, maybe you have an inheritance that is not available until the age of 25. That's something you would pick here because that's already something you're projecting. Or, like me, maybe there's something that is waiting for me when I'm 65. So I would subtract that here. But let's let's talk about something. So, one huge thing that we will need to plan for in the future, outside of to think about why we would not want to count on our savings being our biggest strategy. Number one on my list is medical bills. So, one in three will get cancer, and the numbers are about the same for heart attack or stroke. There is good news though. We are surviving, treatment is getting better. We're able to beat cancer and live longer. But then the walking living dead comes when we get those treatment bills, or just being able to pay for the type of treatment that we want. So if you have a good 401k, good investment, you're like, Paris, I got enough. Are you sure? Why not just get a cancer policy so that you don't have to leverage your savings to take care of some nasty, icky cancer? Let an insurance company cover that for you, but you got to plan for it. Anything that's in the insurance land, you have to buy it before you need it. Okay. You can't even pay to play if you already are uninsurable. Next thing is job loss or income interruption. We saw this a lot during COVID. I personally lost my job. It wasn't due to COVID, it was after that, but I was able to take a tax free loan from my life insurance policy to help get me to today. So a lot of times people will say, I know I've heard someone say before that they've never had a hard time getting a job. Keep I hope that stays true to you forever. But I also met with someone just this last week who that was always their story too. And it's been 2 years now since they've been able to find a new gig. So just think about giving yourself time. Even if, think about that person that's been 2 years, the next job might be coming. But when you start to see your savings disappear, you get nervous. You probably didn't plan to have a 2 year gap in your income at the age of 50 or at any age. So that's another reason why your savings might not be enough, and that's okay. Um, Helping family members. Think about that. If I had a sickness or someone that I care about, my daughter, I just did a story the other day about a guy, he was in a wheelchair for 18 years. Now he's walking. Think about the care that he's had for the last 18 years. Um, I've watched family members pass away, and I want to always be able to be available if I need to support loved ones like that. So, you see all the time, people will say, if something happened to my mama or this like this, it's done for me. Well, make that be able to actually be a choice and you not have to be stressed about it. Let's plan for it. Um, Inflation. I don't know. It says it's a silent thief. Is it really silent though? Because the inflation is loud in my life. It's loud in my ear. Okay. No, seriously. Um, Cost of living, long term care, and nursing home. That is something that's so important. You think that you have time to figure that out, but the sooner you invest in that, the better. Most individuals, if they have family, want to, or even if they're independent, you want to be able to have your care at your home that is not paid for through your health insurance. You need to have a policy or that's coming out of pocket. You see now there's always different changes about government assistance or benefits that are available through the government. So that's why you want to have your own strategy to protect against that. If you find yourself already over the age of 65 and maybe you're already retired and on the fixed income, this is what you start asking for Christmas. Small policy for long term. So think about that in the future. If you're still young, especially, hey, age 40, I might, after you have your PAR taken care of, you might get like an IUL or something else. If you're the age of 40, if you're over 50, we're going to actually get you a long-term care policy. What's neat about a lot of the products now, I have one product now that you buy it, it pays for long term in your home and a nursing home. But the prescription benefits alone, the policies, that's worth it alone. Okay. So something else, taxes on retirement accounts. Every year with inflation or changes, something happens. I always think about, you see now we're seeing more and more people that are living beyond the age of 100. Did you plan to live that long? How far? The dollar doesn't stretch as far. So you want to think about that. Um, Surviving a spouse or kids. You think normally there's a certain order, but we can see every day that life is very unexpected. So, the guy Tanner, if you're familiar with him, he was a content creator on TikTok, and he started a GoFundMe and he did videos. It's really beautifully done, especially if you find yourself uninsurable way to bring a community together. But he was saying that his wife, she didn't have plans to be a single mom. So he wanted people to donate because he won't be there to physically buy his daughter Happy Meals and things throughout her life. But if you donate, you can make that still possible. So that's something to consider. Business or side hustle risks. We've seen a lot of changes looking back to 2008, COVID, all type of different seasons come. So history tends to repeat itself. So you want to make sure that you're protected against that. And just simple, your dreams aren't cheap. Maybe nothing bad ever happens to you. Does that still mean that you don't need an extra strategy or fund to have something different? I think you do. I think you do. So those are some things. Let me remove this. So when we sit here and we talk about, or when I say subtract your savings, that is why we use the calculator. Let me put the calculator back here. Back again. This is why I love the calculator, because when you get down here, definitely, I honestly, when I go through this worksheet with individuals, I start here, make sure we have that taken care of, whole life policy, if nothing else. Kids, there's lots of writers will go into details. Then I go ahead up here, protect your income. I share my story with you all. Like, I have been here and now working to make sure my income is protected again, because this is how I protected my income before. Then we're going to go into debts and dreams and legacy. When we get down here, cash, unless you're like, I gave an example earlier, Ananda Lewis left her son, her estate left her son who just graduated middle school $8 million. If that was you and we were doing this, we would put that in here. Okay, we would account for that here. Employee insurance, definitely put that there. And that's pretty much like all I kind of count, because you think about the things down here are going to cover the list that we discussed. The things down here, your cash, um other funds, they're going to go into unexpected medical bills. That's going to go to job loss or salary interruption. That's going to go into helping other family members in the future. That's going to go into inflation. It's going to go into long term care, changes in taxes, side hustles, businesses you come up with. So you want to make sure that this savings and current insurance is your liquid, your actual savings. So you want to keep that solid and make sure that these stand on their own. Let me see. Just a reminder again. I want to put up the actual definition of whole life insurance. I think it's good to remember, if you find yourself only insured through an employer today, that is, as you can see through our example, that's basically like having no insurance. You want to make sure that you own your insurance, because if you separate from that employer for any reason, it could be your choice, their choice, economy's choice. You want to make sure that you can take benefits with you. Whole insurance is permanent coverage. You want to get permanent participating, so that it builds cash value and it pays dividends. Here, it's a reminder, yes, premiums on the front face may appear to be higher, but higher compared to what? If you look at the benefits, if you're comparing whole to term, it's really not a comparison when you go into the benefits. So I think the premium shouldn't be compared either. And when you compare whole and term over your whole life, whole is going to win as far as the cost every time. So you don't save any money thinking through this all by yourself. I do this every day for free. So let me see. Let me give you homework. I have homework. I'm so sorry. I have homework. I have homework right now. Check your accounts. Do you have, I let an old 401k sit from a employer. I worked full time during college. That 401k set for years, because really, I don't really think I understood what that was, because it was my hustle to pay for college. I wasn't really educated on those. So it set forever. I didn't even, when they kept calling me saying, "Hey girl, You got some money. I thought it was fraud. Don't be like me. That is not working. Once you're separated from the employer, it's not working in that 401k. You want to invest it somewhere else. So check your counts, see what all you have, and then start dreaming big so we can get your perfect number and go from there. So that is your homework. Come back and tell me how you did. I want you to save this video, tag someone who needs to hear this, tag someone you care about it. Yeah, I could do a private one for you and your family if that would help too. Um, there's someone you probably know someone, or you probably have donated to someone's final expense or critical illness or some emergency need. So let's share this with them so that they can prepare for the future. Thanks for listening. Protecting your family starts with being informed. Um, life insurance isn't just about money. It's your way of saying I've got you even when I can't be there. From the last time, the Paris acronym, think about if your income's gone, add up those debts, remember the final expense, include dreams and legacy, and then subtract your savings. Thank you so much for dreaming with me. I look forward to talking with you